So here's something interesting. Despite there being a law that requires invoices to be paid within 30 days, tens of thousands of invoices remain unpaid after that time, and this is negatively affecting small businesses in South Africa. And the culprit for this is government. In 2023-24, national and provincial departments failed to pay 35 billion rand to suppliers within 30 days as required by the law. This represents a deterioration compared to the previous years, and an annual report by the National Treasury shows us a lot of what I'm saying. The Minister of Small Business Development, Stella Ndabeni, also raised concerns over unpaid invoices that were due to the small business sector. The annual Treasury report also showed that the Eastern Cape failed to pay 4.5 billion rands to service providers. This was followed by the Gauteng government, which failed to pay over 2.7 billion rand in unpaid invoices. The two provinces remain the most indebted to service providers. Minister Ndabeni went on to say that some national departments such as Public Works and Employment and Labour also failed to submit monthly exception reports. This is basically a report that works to find out what's going on and what's wrong in a project or in an organization, and then you can work to get back on track. Basically, in this case, they're trying to find out why projects have been stopped and or people aren't being paid. The department has to submit these every single month, but they're seemingly not. All of these non-payments have grossly disadvantaged and badly affected the small business sector, and it seems that every single year it's allowed to get worse. Ask any small business owner, ask anyone who does small business, ask them about why they don't like working with the government. They'll tell you that above all things, their payment timelines are just unreasonable, unfair, and don't make sense, to say the least. In fact, if you've ever done work with and or for government, tell us in the comments, how many days did it take for you to get paid? What was the worst, and what was the best turnaround on payments? By their own government legislation, the state and its departments and its organs are meant to be paying suppliers within 30 days of receipt of an invoice for services and goods. Non-payment severely affects the cash flows and especially the livelihood of small businesses and companies. But even with all this said, they still don't adhere to this basic legislation that they're beholden to. And there are no real consequences when government doesn't pay you on time. It's honestly horrendous. Now, this annual report, when you kind of put it together, when you put how many invoices are not being paid, it's honestly scary. In that same year, 362,000 invoices were not paid within 30 days. That's not even a backlog. That's horrendous. Now, this amount, though being paid late, was settled during the 23-24 year later, but the likelihood of many of these smaller companies is that they had to borrow expensive money to pay their suppliers and also to erode into their margins and their profits. Because you are not being paid on time means you need to get expensive money. Now, all of these things just make it unbearable to work with government as a service provider. Bigger companies are more often than not able to absorb 90-day and even 180-day payment cycles, but not the little guys. They suffer. Treasury's analysis of the data also indicated that the biggest non-payers were provincial departments who were responsible for 70% of invoices that were paid after 30 days. And they were also responsible for 99% of the invoices that were older than 30 days and were not paid by March of 2024. A total of 253,000 invoices to the value of 30 billion rand were paid after 30 days by provincial departments in the 23-24 financial year. The number of unpaid invoices older than 30 days by national and provincial departments at the end of March 2024 numbered 114,000 invoices with the value of 10 billion rand. We are hoping that those companies were eventually paid. It's now October. National departments recorded an improvement of 13 million rand on invoices outstanding from the previous financial year end, while there was a regression of 24% in the number of unpaid invoices older than 30 days at the end of March 2024. These numbered 1,427 invoices worth 53 million compared to 1,149 invoices previously, which were valued at 66 million rand in the previous year. The worst performing departments in terms of paying after 30 days was the Department of Defense, with 83,900 invoices valued at 1.4 billion rand, followed by Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development with 1,164 invoices worth 1.37 billion rand. When we look provincially, the worst performing provinces in terms of paying after 30 days was Gauteng. The province of Gauteng reported the highest number of invoices paid after 30 days in 23-24. Which totaled and amounted to 85,000 invoices, or 34% of total number of invoices paid after 30 days by provincial departments, to a rand value of 8 billion rand. The Northwest reported the second highest number of invoices paid after 30 days during the 23-24 financial year, which amounted to 49,922 invoices, or 22% of total number of invoices paid after 30 days by provincial departments. The value of all of this, 3.4 billion rand. The Eastern Cape reported the third highest number of invoices paid after 30 days during the 23-24 financial year, amounting to 49,900 invoices, or 20% of total invoices paid after 30 days by provincial departments. The cost of all this, 5.8 billion rand. Limpopo provincial departments reported the lowest number of invoices paid after 30 days, which amounted to 1,117 invoices with a rand value of 305 million rand. Mpumalanga reported 2,281 invoices paid after 30 days to a rand value of 1.1 billion. The Western Cape reported 4,125 invoices paid after 30 days with a rand value of 399 million rand. The Treasury, in their duty, compiles annual reports on all of this stuff, on all the payments to suppliers, to raise awareness on the non-payment of supplier invoices, and also to recommend ways to remedy and improve the compliance within the law. The late and/or non-payment of supplier invoices impacts negatively on, amongst others, the socio-economic challenges such as high unemployment, inequality, poverty. They exacerbate this. The financial health of suppliers who are forced to borrow to keep financially afloat is also a factor. The ability of suppliers to pay salaries and also to meet their contractual obligations is also tied to this non-payment issue. Timeliest payments of suppliers is important for improving economic growth and reducing poverty and inequality in South Africa. I think we really need to make that connection. If government isn't paying people, people can't pay people. The Treasury recommends that a number of improvements be put into place, right? Things like making sure that suppliers are paid within 30 days is a start. It's also been recommended by Treasury that disciplinary action needs to start being taken against officials who fail to comply with the requirements of paying 30 days after you've received an invoice. I mean, it should just be simple. I don't know, but maybe you guys have some ideas. How can we get government to pay people on time? How can entrepreneurs ensure that government sticks to its word? Give small business owners some suggestions and sprinkle some words of encouragement. Because honestly, for a government that speaks about small businesses as the backbone of this economy, they're doing fuck all to pay people on time, and sometimes even paying them at all. Anyways, thank you for watching up until this point. We hope that this piece was not as depressing. We hope it was interesting, because it was really interesting for us to understand how and why we're not being paid as small businesses. Check out one of these other videos and hopefully they'll be just as interesting and less gruesome than this one. Cheers.